All right, so this is an example of how we in our marriage have improved our communication. I'm going to give you an incident. I'm going to tell you how it would have gone 2 or 3 months ago and how it went just now. And there's a huge difference. So this is my wife, Heather. I think you guys have met her before.
Hello.
All right, so we were in the car. She was relaying a story to me, right?
Yes,
It doesn't matter the details, but just
a conversation I had with a friend. Yeah.
Okay, so she was sharing a conversation. I was listening, and there was something that she said. And I felt like, I was like, wait, there's something I'm concerned she doesn't know. So I interjected, you are aware of this, right? And what was your reaction to, well, what happened was she kept talking, but then she stopped.
Yeah, because it was more like, he said, oh, we don't do that, that's bad.
Yeah.
And so then I felt like it was a correction, which who of us wants to be corrected by our spouse, right? And so, so then
I thought that was fun.
I was just gonna bury it. I'm like, okay, Heather. Now I'm just not gonna share my story because he's just gonna correct me and do his own thing. And so then I got into a story in my head, right? And the story's just going, and I'm just gonna not share. I'm shutting down, right? I'm shutting down. I'm gonna avoid the conversation. Meanwhile, he's just over here thinking he's helping me out. So he's thinking, what are you thinking?
Yeah. I'm just listening because I just interjected my thing, and she was like, yeah, no, I'm aware of that. And then she kept going, and I didn't hear any change in her voice, so I blithely am just thinking everything's good. And then she says, and
then I stopped and I said, actually, I need to talk to you about something. I'm kind of offended or a little bit triggered by something you just said. Can we talk about it? Is it okay if we talk about this? And he said, yes.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, no, that's good. Thank you for doing that. And what she said was, when you said that I felt, what was the word you used?
I felt like you were trying to correct me.
I felt like I was
belittle me. I felt belittled.
Yeah. You didn't say belittled, but
no,
you said
belittled. And I was like,
yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
So she said, I feel corrected, and that made me have an emotional reaction. So she totally owned the feeling, and she invited me into the conversation to explain what was my intention when I said that. And what I told her was like, oh no, I was just making sure you knew that, and I didn't know if you did or not. And she's like, yeah, that's true. You wouldn't have known if I had known that or not. And so I said, what I could have done better. First of all, she accepted that I had no ill intention. Right.
Thank you for sharing your side of it and what you really intended by that statement. That really helps me feel like in a better place and not triggered.
Yeah.
Not reacting.
Yeah. So that gave me, and then so she didn't just jump down my throat. She gave me a chance to explain myself, because I would have been like, whoa, hold on, I wasn't coming from that place at all. And I said, well, I could have phrased it better. I could have asked her a question, are you aware of this? And then she could have said yes, and then that would have been the end of it, because I wouldn't have said anything. So I learned something, but more importantly, we worked through it without any leftover hard feelings or marital trauma or whatever, and that's growth for us, because a couple months ago, the way it would have gone, which is how it would go for most people,
I would just bury it.
She would have buried it,
held it
held against me.
Him, yeah. Been annoyed.
Yep.
Oh, I can't share with him. Would have kept the story. Oh, I just can't share things with him.
So
true.
Yeah. So you can't. So what we can't do is, and mine would be the opposite, because she's an avoider, I'm a pursuer. And so what I would do is, if I got upset, I'd stop and I'd be like, hey, blah blah blah, right? I'd be like, let's deal with it. And she would run away from that. So we wouldn't have gotten anywhere regardless of who was injured a couple months ago, with the way we would have had our communication style. Now what we get to do is understand each other better. And so I guess the point being, if you're an avoider, is don't bury it, say it, but find a way to say it that is also not attacking the other person, but is just like saying, hey, this, and I talked about this in that other video, is what we learned is to say, hey, I'm having some feelings around this, the story I'm telling myself, or the feelings I'm having, or whatever. Because she said that to me in a way that I was completely not then being hyper defensive and triggered myself to go into self-defense mode. So anyway, just something, and again, these are things that mountain bikers gonna hit us. These are things that we've learned. It's not like, oh, look at us, we're so great. We're following the playbook, but it makes a huge difference.
Something that he did, which was great, was found a way to change it for next time. Hey, do you think if this came up again, if it would be better if I asked it in a question versus a statement? And I said, yes, absolutely. That would totally have made it so I didn't feel triggered and have a reaction to that.
Yeah, because for me, it's like I don't want to do that because I'm being misunderstood essentially, but I'm thinking about, well, like, okay, what did I do? How did I phrase this content? How did I package the content in a way that maybe made it harder to swallow or made it more likely to trigger? And then how can I redo that in the future? Anyway, so there you go. There's a real life example.